But in a nutshell, if you had to put in one line, what you're trying to do is to bring the joy back in Judaism.
Yeah, but that's also it's the joy through it's tam. It's flavor through reason. It's really flavor and reason is the same. Not just okay, let's go have fun and like sing and dance and kumzitz. That's also true, but let's learn deep Torah that will bring us to understand reason that will give us the joy. So yes, we're going to also have experiences of joy, and physically enjoying, but also there's what to learn that will bring you to that level.
And I'm sure you run into a lot of people. I mean, I would have put myself in this category at a certain point of those who were like beaten with the stick of Torah, so to speak, right? Meaning the language itself, the words itself, the Torah itself, halacha itself, all has so many connotations that there's almost no way in until that gets
100%.
resolved.
Baal Tshuvas are easy to inspire. Baal Tshuva's like, he's a customer. Like, he came from a life of no meaning, and come on, everything you tell him, he's drinking it. Give me, Rabbi, give me more, give me more. For me, the hardest guys to deal with is out of all the Hasidus is probably the Breslovers that go off the derech. Because like Rav Nachman the Breslov is like, he's sitting at the edge, like telling you, like, brother, don't give up, don't give up. And if you got abused by the Breslov thinking, like, I don't even know what to tell you. Because like you can't even use like the deep Breslov Torahs because they're traumatized from them.
Oh, wow.
So you're right. Like the heavier the religious stick that beat you was, it's harder. You know, in a sense, if the age of Kiruv, you know, was in the 60s and the 70s, the explosion of Baalei Tshuva, today it's in reach. Today it's people that grew up in our systems. Yes. You know, if you're in Chabad, wherever you are, and it's and that's right. That's the next level challenge of how do we, you know, sometimes I tell a guy, you didn't do enough drugs to forget everything. Like, go forget everything first, and then we'll talk. Like Nebuch, he's still, you know. But that's really, you know, the Gemara says that Reb Zera, before he came to Eretz Yisrael from Bavel, he fasted 100 fasts to forget everything he learned, because he needed the fresh Torah of Eretz Yisrael. So there is that sometimes I see that godly mechanism of people have to totally forget it and in order to learn Aleph Beis again.
Right. I was speaking with someone a few months ago. We had a conversation. His name is Tzvi Haber. And we've had, in some ways, similar paths, at least, you know, through 12 steps and different addiction. And what we spoke about, I think we both went into like tefillin, where we both had to like distance ourselves from it completely because it was associated, in my case, it was associated with guilt. Anytime I missed it, I had guilt. So anytime I put it on, it was to alleviate guilt. Like, I don't want any part of this. So for months and maybe longer, I don't know, maybe years, I just put away. I wanted no part of it. But is that what you mean, kind of like by?
So that I believe that distancing was really, I believe that those years you were mamish putting on tefillin, because you were just distancing yourself from it so you could appreciate it. You were traumatized by the externalism of it. You were not hating Hashem or hating tefillin or hating mitzvahs. You just could not bear to be traumatized anymore by whatever that those boxes held in your mind. And I believe that distancing you were doing in order to eventually regain a true connection to tefillin, which I hope you have or you're going to have.
Yeah, I would say now most days I put on tefillin.
Gewaldig.
Yeah, I enjoy it now.
But you have to have that, it has to be bechira.
Yes.
Like, you know, I had guys that, you know, go to mikvah every day, and I meet them one day, and, you know, every day, you know, and one of my good friends, a big tzaddik, he's told me I stopped going to the mikvah. Because it became like, it's like I want to go to the mikvah because I want to go to the mikvah,
right?
And not because I want I want it to be a choice. I want it to be a choice of love, a choice of becoming, not automatic. You know, one of the, you know, the cycle, the cyclicity of religion is itself is a whole issue.
You know, so how do you? I was just going to ask that. Is that there's so much routine, monotony, heaviness, punitive messages that are, you know, all wrapped up with religion. So many of that is antithetical to fun and joy and pleasure. How do you bridge that gap?
Yeah, that you just nailed it. That's the perfect question, because that's really for the cure of kroivim. That's really the question. You know, how do I get re-excited about something that I got so bored of, which is the truth? So then again, like getting a fresh perspective on life and realizing like this perspective of life as a journey and it's about me and it's about my journey. It's about embracing the ugliness of the animal soul and the beauty of the godliness that we're meant to become. And the path to get there is through tikkun hamidot, it's through Torah, it's through mitzvot. I believe that perspective could kind of like get you re-excited about these things as details of a greater journey. It's not about the details anymore. It's about the journey is within. I'm feeling it. Yeah, I know. And I'm feeling my animal soul. I'm feeling my godly becoming. It's relevant to me. It's important to me. And I understand that this is Hashem's gift to us, that through these actions, and it's not just these actions, these are details of the journey. So when it's the journey, the becoming, the dvekos, that's really in mind, and that kind of like could put all these details and mitzvahs in perspective in a new light.
You're saying the momentary questions. I mean, I saw what you did with my own story when I shared about tefillin. Is in the context of a journey, those, let's say, year or 2 or 3 years, whatever it was that I was possibly longer. I don't remember that I didn't put on tefillin or refused to for that reason, right? Like around guilt. You connected it to, meaning when I'm looking at it in the context of a journey, then right at the end of the destination, I may have a much tighter and closer relationship with not only tefillin, but God, but meaning and purpose, that whole becoming that you're speaking about. When I'm looking at it through that lens versus this day,
right,
it gives me a lot more freedom.
So actually,